Hey folks, here's a quick video review for a 2012 Toyota Camry Hybrid XLE trim that is going up for sale here fairly shortly. The hybrid model of the Camry was a 4-cylinder engine at 178 horsepower, which was combined with a 22 horsepower eCVT engine. Total combined horsepower for the hybrid model, 200 horsepower. These Camrys are fantastic commuter cars, averaging anywhere from about 35 to 41 mpg depending on your commute and how you drive. In our testing for this vehicle, we've actually averaged roughly around 37 mpg, which is pretty nice. And this particular model included all the available options at the time of its release. You have the JBL audio that's included, navigation, DVD playback function, and rear view camera, which is located just above the trunk release there. And let's take a look inside. All right. So inside we find an assortment of different options that are available to the driver. Here is the standard shifter. Because this is a eCVT, you really only have 2 forward functions and 1 reverse function. Basically drive, brake, and reverse, park and neutral, of course. Upon starting it up, here's the navigation head unit. Let me just turn on the sound. This is Sirius XM radio. I shouldn't call it Sirius anymore. This is XM radio compatible. The DVD drive itself is accessed by pressing this open close button, and the screen will pop out and you can insert your disc, close the head unit, and it'll start playing there. Variety of different menu options available. Of course, you have Bluetooth for hands-free calling as well as for music streaming to the head unit. Media playback function will get you over to your Bluetooth connection. Radio functions get you to your standard AM/FM radio, Sirius XM satellite radio, and any sort of USB device that is inserted in the USB port. USB ports are located here under the head unit. It's a bit dark down there, but you can see there's a standard 12-volt DC power outlet, a USB jack, and a auxiliary audio input. Just in front of that, we have the driver and passenger heated seat function, which you can turn on, and using the slide wheel here, adjust the level of heat. There's 2 buttons that are here. EV mode will tell the vehicle to operate on battery alone for, I believe, up to 30 miles per hour, depending on if you have a gentle acceleration. And eco mode essentially just lengthens the time that you spend on the throttle and tries to get you maximum economy while you're driving your normal commute. On the driver's cluster here, we have a standard tachometer and speedometer. Tachometer really on the hybrid is replaced with this EV charging function. Lets you know the status of the battery. In certain cases you're going to be charging, whether you're using the regenerative braking or if the gasoline engine kicks in to recharge the battery when it's low. Economy mode is typically where it's going to be for the most of the time. This is where the hybrid engine and the gasoline engine are combined to give you that total cruising altitude or cruising power of alternating between each engine. Power mode is when you have both engines combined to give you maximum acceleration when you are trying to floor it, more or less. The menu here is actually pretty nice. This has a built-in navigation, which is completely touchscreen. This is a Fujitsu 10 rebadged JBL unit, and you basically just touch it where you want it to go, and typical GPS things. You can mark destinations, search catalog of POIs, and plot your route. One thing that I find interesting and really useful is this energy monitor. Basically tells you the status of the battery, how much charge it has, and whether or not the gas engine is powering the drivetrain itself directly or recharging the battery, or whether the 2 engines are working in combination to power the vehicle, which is nice. There's a variety of different options that are available. If you were to press this info button, you can get at different status outputs for the vehicle, any sort of traffic accidents that are coming down through the SiriusXM subscription, and tire pressure levels and fuel consumption versus a different variation of the menu that you saw before for energy saving. This keeps a track of all your different drives and what your total output of energy was for the EV drive as well as for the hybrid drive. And it's got nice little features that you're maybe of interest to you if you're looking for that type of thing. So standard arrangement of other features as well. The climate control is a dual passenger climate control. You can enable that by pressing this button. This is dual, and now either side can adjust its own temperature individually, not have it linked together. AC is there, and I don't know if you heard that, but the gas engine just kicked in, so I want to just check real quick just to make sure that it's showing that. There it is. You can see the gas engine that's charging the battery. Mileage on this vehicle right now is at 117,190 as of the date of this recording. The instrument cluster itself also keeps track of your average MPG, which you can look at the digital cluster as well for that information, as well as an analog gauge for that. And other information here is just basic thing, your fuel utilization, as well as your gear that you're in, and also the temperature outside. Over on the left of the driver's side, we have a blindside monitor feature enabling. So if you are attempting to make a turn, whether you have your turn signal on left or right, if the vehicle's sensors on either side of the mirror detect another object in that space, it'll flash the indicator warning light on each mirror to let you know that there is an object there and not to turn. The other button here is to turn off the traction control. Down here is a accessory box for coins or whatever you choose to put in there. On the driver's door, you have controls for operating all 4 windows, as well as for locking and unlocking the doors. Window lock, so that no one in the back seats can operate the windows, as well as adjustments for the driver and passenger mirror controls. On the wheel itself, you have different options that are available. The right side thumb control operates the vehicle's voice system, I guess the hands-free system if you want to call it that. Touching the top of the unit here will activate the calling feature. You'd be able to select a speed dial or directly dial from the head unit itself. The bottom button here is to hang up. The icon with a face talking activates the system's voice recognition, which I find a little bit cumbersome because you kind of have to wait for the voice to stop talking before it accepts the voice inputs from you. I find it much more convenient just to press a button and 2 buttons over there, and then that's it. I'm making my call. But there are some folks who possibly could use that. The other instrument control here for the left side is your basic 4-way D-pad, more or less, to operate functions of the head unit, as well as for the instrument gauge cluster if you are in a particular menu that supports it. The top and bottom controls here are volume up and volume down, as well as a mode button which cycles through the various modes of the head unit, whether it's AM, FM radio, satellite radio, or Bluetooth. You hold the button in, it activates a mute. This icon here is a back symbol, so if you're in a menu, you want to go 1 level back, you just press that to get back. And there's a display button here that cycles through the various menus of the driver information screen that's in the middle. And you have a nice little digital clock there that's hidden below the dash. Going up on top, we have controls for operating the map reading lights for both the driver and passenger. This button will activate the ability to turn on the lights when you open the doors, like that. If I disable that and I open the door, the lights will not come on. So it's a nice safety feature to have that on. This button activates all the lights in the vehicle at once. Here you have your garage door controls for up to 3 garage doors that you choose to program. Here is the controls for the sunroof. You can open and close the sunroof as well as ventilate it up or down. That's up and down. And then if you press and hold, it'll automatically retract. And again, press it again and hold it to close. There's also a sunroof shade that you can manually pull over if it gets too sunny outside. One feature that's here, which is no longer supported, is the SOS feature through Toyota. Because analog cellular has gone out the window in favor of digital, this function no longer exists, even though the button may be there. If you press it, it'll just keep dialing in, you never get anybody, so that's what that does. In here is a storage compartment for sunglasses that if you choose to put it in there, you can just conveniently close it there. The rear view mirror has a nice compass feature that's built into it, as well as automatic dimming. To deactivate that, I believe you just hold in the auto button and the green light goes away and it no longer auto dims. I find it convenient just to leave it on though. It's easy to use. Passenger also has a sunshade with a vanity and the lights upstairs. And overall, very nice build of this unit, or rather this vehicle. There's very nice stitching that goes along the trim of the driver's dash, as well as along the panels in the back. It's very nice. Let's go check out the back. All right, the rear seats are excellent for comfort as well as for legroom. You can see here I'm a 5'9" guy and I can still have a lot of legroom here. It's very, very nice. Well over 6 inches easily. The front seats have a convenient pocket, so you can store any sort of items there. There are map lights up above your head, activated by simply pressing the button. There are 3 seats back here which have seat belts, as well as a convenient pull-down cup holder and armrest. The vehicle also has a pass-through for storing large objects in the trunk. There's a button that you can pull, rather a lever that you can pull in the trunk, which will cause this entire seat back to fold forward, and you can pass long objects through. We'll get to that in just a bit. Pretty standard arrangement here. You have the JBL surround sound speakers, as well as a subwoofer that's directly under this panel, as well as your car seat latch connections there. There are clothes hanging options, as well as a handle to support yourself in and out of the vehicle, and curtain airbags for the rear seat passengers. The ventilation here is centrally located. You have the option to activate it or disable it, and each passenger has their own vent for ventilation. Down below the driver and passenger seats, there's also floor ventilation as well. It's hard to see down there because it's colored black and it is getting towards nighttime, but trust me, it is there. And if you don't prefer to use the center mounted ventilation for the rear, you can just turn on the floor mode for the ventilation and it'll come out the floor. Let's go take a look at the back. Trunk is about standard size for a hybrid vehicle. You are sharing a large portion of the back of the vehicle for the hybrid battery storage, so you're not going to get as deep of a trunk space as you would with a non-hybrid model. Nonetheless, you do have ample space here for most everything that you could want to fit in here. The vehicle comes with a cargo net, as well as a spare tire and tire inflator, which is underneath this panel here. If we dig down deep. Car battery is located in the rear of the vehicle in the trunk, under this panel here. Standard 14-volt battery for the starter, as well as for the rest of the vehicle to operate on electronics. Here's that pass-through port that I mentioned earlier. You can get to that by pulling this lever that says pull, so we'll do that now. And you have to work it over here so that you pull down the seats. You can see what I'm doing now. So you can fit through some long objects in there, some 2x4s, some skis, whatever you choose to put there, and have it pass through the front here. Here's your third brake light. Your emergency trunk release right there. And again, that rear view backup camera that's located right there. Front passenger has access to the glove box. Right now it just has the user manual for the vehicles that are there. But as your cabin air filter is located in this compartment, so if it's come times to change it, then that's where it's located. 2 cup holders, as well as another storage compartment to round out the center console controls. There's also an additional 12-volt DC power port for any electronics that you choose to use. The armrest in the center pops up for a standard glove box size. It's actually quite deep. You can store a lot of stuff that's there. The top of the unit slides forward to give you more cushion on your arms. If you open the latch and just slide it forward, it gives a little bit more support for your armrest. All right. Let's take a drive and see how it runs. Vehicle starts up just like any other vehicle. Foot on the brake, press the power button. The car activates. There is a ready indicator here on the dash to let you know that the vehicle is on and the engines are on. Typically the electric engine will start first, so it's a bit unnerving to know that the car is on when you don't hear anything. But just looking at the dash, you see that ready light tells you that the car is on. So just be wary of that. And put the vehicle in park, or rather, take it out of park and put it into drive. Parking brake off. Let's go for a ride. Vehicle itself is super smooth transmission, just exactly what you would expect from a hybrid CVT. Although it does give you a little bit of punchiness when you step on it like that due to the acceleration of the electric engine, which is always fantastic to feel that. Gasoline engine itself is pretty peppy for 178 horsepower inline 4. When the engines are combined, you do get a nice 200 horsepower ride in this vehicle, which is very nice compared to something from a competitor which has considerably less total horsepower. This is definitely a nice vehicle for commuting on and off the freeway when you need to have the acceleration capabilities of getting up to speed on the freeway and then coming down to a crawl in traffic. You'll notice now that we're in a standstill, the little EV light on the dash has activated to let us know that we're on battery power. So the gas engine is actually shut down now. We're on the electric engine. It's another nice little fuel saving feature that this vehicle has. Vehicle has a super smooth ride. Of course, with the CVT, you don't get any of the herky-jerkiness of any type of geared transmission. One thing I will say though, because this vehicle does have pretty aggressive regenerative braking, when you do press the brake pedal, it is very grabby, I guess is the best word I can use to describe that. It's not quite as fluid as a vehicle that does not have regenerative braking. It kind of, you know, you push it down a little bit and it just immediately kind of sticks to the wheel. So you have to get used to how it grabs it and just kind of, you know, ease into it a little bit before pushing it in harder. Again, very smooth ride. You know, there's no question in my mind why this is always one of the most popular vehicles for commuters in North America. It's just a fantastic car for everyday driving, and really feels just smooth, I guess is the best way I can describe it. So this would be a good choice for anybody who is you know, driving to work or driving to school, or you know, needing just a, you know, point A to point B car, which also gets great gas mileage, has enough room for 5 passengers, as well as you know, cargo, and just an overall excellent vehicle. So the overall range of this vehicle, once fully topped off with fuel, is roughly 520 miles to the tank, and we've actually achieved that multiple times. It's not just you know, the marketing fluff that's on the driver information display. You actually do get 500 miles to the tank, which is really nice. Not only is it you know, huge savings in terms of money, having to refuel every, you know, couple of days, but also of time. You know, it saves you from having to go to the gas station every other day and to make sure you have enough fuel to get to your destination. So this is an excellent commuter car. My overall impression for this vehicle is very positive. Not only do you get a peppy vehicle to drive, but also one that has enough room for 5 adults, some cargo space to boot, and fantastic miles per gallon economy. Again, over 500 miles to the tank that we have confirmed multiple times by driving this vehicle. And just overall a fantastic ride. There's a reason why you see a million of these things on the road, and that is because as commuter cars, they're really in a class of their own. Not only in terms of safety and performance for a hybrid engine, but also great fuel economy and just overall a fantastic car that doesn't break the budget. Thanks again for watching this video. Take care.